everybody, welcome back to Movie Reviews. In this review I am looking at Backfire from 1988. Now this is a completely unknown film. This is really completely unknown. I mean, it's sort of under people's radar, this film is, and quite so. So let's go into what this film is. So Backfire, it stars Karen Allen, Jeff Fahey and Keith Carradine. Those three names will ring a bell. Obviously, Karen Allen, famous actress, Raise the Lost Ark, Wanderers, Animal House, Starman, Scrooge, Until September. Great classics they are, and probably this film as well. It sort of like displays her, her acting style very much. And obviously, now I do believe I prefer Karen Allen's acting from 78 to 88, so those 10 years, sort of a decade really, roughly a decade of her acting decade, very much are quite the best, obviously. And afterwards it's sort of pointless, a little bit pointless really, but this is like one of her last great movies very much, like along with Scrooge. And obviously I can see why, because, well, not really because no one really knows this film properly, inside and out, very much. So, what this film is, it's basically to do with a Vietnam War veteran called Donnie, who's played by Jeff Fahey, known for playing, was it Job in the Lawnmower Man with Pierce Brosnan. He was in that episode of Miami Vice back in the day, back in the probably something like a couple of years before the film Backfire. And we also got Keith Carradine, not David Carradine, Keith Carradine. And obviously the Vietnam War veteran of Donnie, he's basically married with he's successfully rich, along with his wife Mara, who obviously seems to be disapproved of his behaviour. Obviously what he's been through, it's sort of deteriorating his brain very much. He gets more erratic, is more, he's quite suicidal and has hallucinations with blood and stuff as well, which is quite interesting. And, well, some stuff, his hallucinations are quite graphic and a bit disgusting, but it's just how we see through his eyes. And obviously, in doing so, he tries to attempt to kill himself. However, this doesn't really work out, much to his wife Mara's disapproval, very much, because she's more interested in getting rid of her husband and keep the whole thing, property, company, everything else, to herself. And obviously, in doing so, and she has to look after him while he's paralysed for life, can't speak or anything at all, and has to care for him, and also the maid as well. But she just has to go out one night just to get away from the craziness, what's going on, and meets a stranger called Reed, who's played by Carradine. And obviously, they strike up the idea to actually assassinate or kill Donnie and take up the business, because they start a relationship together. They do. But in doing so, when Mara comes back to the house to actually kill Donnie, stuff like she's been hallucinated and being frightened, like in a haunted house type of thing, like event thing, like with dead skulls, a couple of blood sheets all over the place, and just, I think like Donnie's watching it, wants to kill her. She's sort of like, she gets more paranoid with it, very much. And obviously, coming towards the end, actually, I mean, the name Backfire actually comes for the ending, very much. Like, her plan to assassinate her own paralysed husband backfires, and she ends up get killed at the end. She does. Obviously, when the gun backfires, and just kills it instantly. Now, the character of Reed is at the end of the movie, the character of Reed is actually turned to be an old comrade of Donnie's, who he actually saved during the war in Vietnam. And obviously they start the relationship, and it's not like a long friendship. Like, Donnie saved Reed's life, and obviously at the end he sort of looks after him. He does. Like, they're both Vietnam War vets. One's paralysed and one's sort of been, I don't know, maybe tricked or used or something, and obviously that's how it ends. One other cast member to have noticed is Dean Martin Jr., obviously Dean Martin's son, who was, this is actually tends to be his final film, because after the filming, Backfire, he died in a plane crash afterwards. I think some in the mountains, probably. And obviously that technically is one of his final films. I think also they mention at the end it's in memory of him as well. Probably. Now the music itself is done by a guy called David Shire. It's mainly filled with Simmons drums, little, I would say like little fills, very much like that sort of thing, sort of like round all over the movie, very much. It's like it's a bit distracting, but it sort of works a little bit. And some other stuff like a little bit of jazz, a little like slow jazz type music as well, like especially in the opening scene when the movie begins. It sort of picks up like the movie. It's like if you're watching it. It's like you're watching like an unbroadcast pilot of an old soap opera that never exists anymore. I'm trying to think of any other. Maybe something like Return to Eden or something like that. And that's all. That's Australian, but it's old, and it's over that style. It's sort of in that style, like opening style, but good enough. And it sort of picks up nicely. And some of the themes that are threatening do help, though cheaply done. It sort of suits the movie perfectly. And okay. How did I come across this film though? Let's talk about the release of this movie in home media releases. Frankly enough, it was released on DVD in the USA. It was released in the USA on VHS. I don't know if it was released on Laserdisc, but it was released on DVD as well. However, here in the UK, we only got it on the VHS done by Virgin Video, or was it Virgin? Yeah, Virgin Video released it. Along with a few others like Stepfather, the original version of Stepfather, by the way, not the remake, and some other films. I don't know actually. There's a few films that are released on Virgin Video. However, the company itself, ITC, who actually produced this movie, actually haven't really gone negotiations of releasing this to the UK for some reason. I mean, ITC, it's a British-based company anyway, and it was a television company, and I think it didn't produce a much wider release. I think ITC's still around, or is it gone, or is it defunct? Who knows? I mean, for a lot of these television, stuff is always, gone afterwards, maybe after a few years. Like the ITV, was it a TV circuit boom or something in '91? If anyone remembers that. Oh, I don't think so. But there's a little video about it that I watched last night about it, to do with the ITV 50th. Anyway, losing track anyway. So ITC have never really released this, approved a DVD release of this in the UK. You can only get this on the VHS if you hunt down the VHS of this movie. Now it was attached to. It was the trailer. The trailer for this movie was attached to the VHS tape of Ray Sue and Bob 2, which is the previous review that I did. And I remember watching. I think I was looking at Ray Sue and Bob 2 on YouTube actually, and there's a screen grab of RoboCop, the '87 movie, and I thought that's interesting. I mean, I might just watch this, and it's the Virgin Video. Just try to add it. It runs for about, I think it's still on there now. It runs for maybe about 10 minutes, I think. And obviously showcasing the other movies. Backfire was one of those, and RoboCop as well. And I think there was another. I can't remember the other ones, but RoboCop and Backfire were the two that I remember prominently in that. And obviously Backfire intrigued me because it had a few famous actors that I knew, and it had an interesting story. The trailer actually looked interesting and I thought, why not watch it? And it was on YouTube at the time. It was. I mean, there was a full version that was in English. That was in not bad quality actually. And I watched it and thought, this is actually quite good. It's actually an interesting film. However, YouTube have now got rid of that. But there was another version included, but it's in Italian or Spanish. It is. And obviously, with films like that, I mean, you can still hear the English sound coming through a little bit, but it's caked over with dubbing of maybe a Spanish woman and a Spanish male and stuff like that. It's quite distracting. It is, and this is what I tend to avoid it now and again. However, if you're a person who's interested in movies, like unknown movies with famous actors in. I think there's maybe some other ones like, what was it? It was like Red Sea or Red Dawn. A different one with George Clooney in. Something to do like police jumping coast and stuff. Deadfall with Nicolas Cage and Michael Biehn. I think there's a few. There's a few very unknown movies that you could see maybe released by Boulevard Entertainment, really, like those 4-disc ones. Yeah, famous faces attached to them, and they're completely unknown movies that you tend to see maybe on TV now and again that were maybe released, maybe in short fit in theatres for a little while, and then released on home video straight afterwards. I think Backfire is in that sort of category very much, and to see it now and still thinking about it today, I do think it's quite good, and it's probably an interesting movie to watch. Though it's solving plot threads before, like in a few things that we've seen before. However, I think it's worth a watch, really. And that is the review of Backfire. And I'll see you for the next video. See ya.